Ever wonder what makes a strong leader? It's not about titles or positions. It's about abiding in God's presence. I'm Ronnie Floyd, and my new 365-day devotional, day by day and night by night, is about supporting you to be empowered by God's continuous presence. I want to inspire you to lead with confidence, even amidst transition or adversity, to lead with God by your side, day by day and night by night.
Question: what are you doing to help develop other people? Whether the people are living in your home, perhaps your children, or you may see them periodically called your grandchildren, or what are you doing to help and develop other people in your community? Perhaps you're with them at times to experience various events, or perhaps you share commonalities of experiences at their local schools. What are you doing to really help develop others? And then when you look at the church, what are you doing to help develop others, even in the church where you worship, the people you worship with? But then when you look at the gigantic opportunity in the workplace, what are you doing to help develop others? This is exactly what I want to talk about today on the podcast. And I want you to engage with me, and I want you to focus with me, because we are about to attack a subject and look at it honestly and openly and give you, listen carefully, 7 ways to develop other people.
Ronnie Floyd is a leader of leaders with a vision to change the world. The 4 Leaders podcast with Ronnie Floyd is committed to investing, inspiring, and influencing your life and leadership today. With a legacy of investing in thousands and thousands of leaders throughout the years who've led in multiple arenas of leadership. Now is the time, and today is the day for Ronnie Floyd to invest, inspire, and influence you in a serious and responsible way. So spread the news and share the 4 Leaders podcast with others around the world. Now, here's your host, Ronnie Floyd.
Welcome again to the 4 Leaders podcast. It is a privilege today to be able to talk to you about a subject that I am very passionate about. It's something that I have just learned through leading people and helping people for many decades. I want you to think with me today about this subject: 7 ways you can help others. 7 ways you can help develop other people. You see, the people we live life with, from the families in our homes, all the way to the community in which we live, the church where we may attend, and then, of course, the workplace environment. What are we doing to develop other people? Now, one of my mentors from a distance is a man who taught me this years and years ago. His name was John Maxwell. He told me one time one of the things that he does in his life, in any relationship, and one of the things he practices when he goes to speak somewhere, is to always ask this question: how can I add value? In a relationship, how can I add value to the relationship? in a workplace relationship? How can I add value and help you and encourage you and even develop you? And then, of course, when you go somewhere and speak, and I've learned to do this through the years, I want to know when I go speak somewhere where the leader can tell me, this is the way I want you to add value to my people. This is what we need to do in this podcast every week, is to add value to your life. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the very subject that I believe can really lift an organization. It can lift a church. It can lift your family. It can lift a community. It can lift any environment in the workplace. And that is, how do you help others and develop others to be better than they even are today? I had someone tell me this years ago, and I've never forgotten it. All you have to know to help somebody is one thing perhaps they don't have, or even that they do not understand. And you may just be an inch ahead of them, but you can make a difference in their life. You can add value to where they are to help them become more what they should be and want to be in life. You see, I know that we all want to make a difference. Every one of us, doesn't matter who we are, what our background is, whether we're secure or insecure, whether we're great leaders or good leaders or a growing leader, and we're not sure if we're even a leader, we really want to make a difference. The kind of stuff I'm going to talk about today can make a difference. So I want to begin with the first way you can help develop other people. Be intentional. Be intentional. It is imperative that you take developing others, helping others to such a degree in your life that you become intentional. You see, when you are aware that people always want to get better, people always want to be the best they can be, and people may say this or they may say that, but in the depths of their heart, they really do want to matter, and they want to do something that really makes a difference in life, just like you do and just like I do. Well, in order for us to be able to practice this in the relationships we have in life, again, whether they are at the church or whether they are in the workplace, whether there is some sporting event, at the schools, in your family, you have to be intentional. I am going to look for ways to help develop others to be better than they are even today. You'll find this to be true. When you have that kind of commitment, people will be brought into your life, and even some of the people you're developing, and they're going to help develop you to be better in your life. The second way is you have to be strategic. You have to be thinking all the time, how am I this week going to help others and develop others at the workplace? What will I do on this day, at this specific day, to make sure that I'm doing that? That I am helping the people in my family, that I am helping the people in the community that I know, that I'm making a difference in the school in which my children attend, or I may attend as a student, whether it's the workplace or the church. We need to understand that if we are intentional, then we must become strategic. What am I going to do today to help others and develop others to be more what they need to be? Now, there is a third way, and this gets into the real understanding of what it takes to do the kind of thing, the specific kind of thing I'm talking about. It's a simple principle. Listen carefully. Use breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Use breakfast, lunch, and dinner to help develop others that you know. For example, in the family, breakfast may be absolutely crazy at your home. People are running here. The kids are getting ready for school. Some are in a good mood. Some are not in a good mood. All of a sudden, that may not be the best environment. They may be at school during lunchtime. So when is the natural time? The natural time will be dinner time. And there are times at the dinner table, if you will eat together, and if you will experience that together for a few minutes, where you can help develop them to be more what they need to be. I'm convinced today that a lot of parents are really missing the opportunity to develop their children into being leaders. And that's what I'm talking about, is developing others so that they can make an impact with their life in every way. I know in the workplace, for decades, I practiced what I'm about to tell you. I used lunchtime where I help develop other people. I use lunchtime as a time that if I was stopped in a hallway and asked a question and they needed time with me, or they just wanted to get to know me, or if I had in my heart to be able to deposit some of my life into their life, and I needed those moments to do that. One of the most powerful ways to do that is on the tracks of a personal relationship, and having that personal relationship sometimes takes, whether you have 30 minutes at lunch or you have an hour for lunch, use your lunchtime to do that very thing. Some of you, breakfast fits your life. Whatever it is, you do it. But the point is that if you will use where you are normally in your life, where you normally track, usually you're going to eat lunch, you can use that to be strategic and intentional in helping someone who is here become here. Whether it's someone that is younger in the workplace than you, someone who is new in their position, or someone who just is eager and wants to learn and they're teachable, or someone like you care about people and you want to make a difference in people, and you take the initiative. You say, hey, let's go to lunch together and let's get to know one another and share with them some things that you are learning in your life and things that will help them develop to be better in their life. There's a fourth way I want to mention today, and that is to create direct communication. Create direct communication. I was looking through some things recently, and I discovered at least 3 notebooks in my library. I mean, these 3 notebooks are less than 5 yards from me right now. And when I began to open those notebooks and look at those notebooks, it brought back to my mind a reality, and that is the number of hours and days and weeks that I spent in developing other people. You see, sometime in an organization, when the leader speaks, he thinks he can speak, or she thinks that she can speak to the person who is supposed to be the organizational genius. And sooner or later, everybody's going to get that through the organization. And we think that we are doing this in a downward track, and sooner or later, the message is going to get there. That is an assumption that is not always a healthy and good assumption. Imagine this scenario. You tell someone this, and you're the leader of your small company, or your smaller business, or your department, or maybe you're the head of some mega corporation. And you tell that person to the right of you, and then they go to their leadership group the senior group in your company, and they tell them, and then they go down to the group below them and the group below them. And all this time, guess what happens? The heart of the message is hardly ever translated and interpreted by the time it gets to the whatever we would call the lower part of any organization. You see, I learned this, and I had to learn it, and I'm so glad I learned it, that I started implementing once a quarter, a time with several hundred volunteers that it took to do what we did at the church that I served over 32 years as senior pastor, called Cross Church. And I would call them to a meeting together, be several hundred of them come on a Sunday afternoon. And they would give an hour to an hour or 15 minutes with us, and we would feed them a brief dinner time together. We would honor certain people who emulated what we believed servant leadership needed to be. And then what we would do, I would stand up. It wouldn't be somebody else, it would be me as the leader of the organization, of the church, and I would stand up and I would pour out vision, teach them leadership principles, and tell them what's going to happen over the next 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, right now, what's going on. Anything I could do to pour into them the vision and help the vision go forward. Let me just say to you, that was a transformative moment. And we did it again and again and again and again. And I have a notebook full of materials that I poured into them. And the point is not about me doing that. The point is one thing, is that we created direct communication. We would have never gotten there otherwise. And for them to be in the same room with the person who is determining the vision and helping set forth the vision and casting the vision, whatever the vision may be, or the heart of an organization, they can excel at a level they've never excelled before if they just know what you need or what you want us to become in this place and through what this place does. Are you listening? It's really important. You could do that at any time in the organization you serve. Stop relying on others as you pour into them, that they're going to take it to the depths. You see, one generation hears it this way, another generation hears it this way, and I'm not talking about age generations. I'm just talking about the storyline. The storyline's heard here. The storyline is heard here. Storyline's heard here. Sooner or later, it doesn't look anything like what it was intended to look by the leader. So create moments for direct communication. Then, of course, there is a fifth way that I want to mention, and that is to do what I call gift resources. Gift, G-I-F-T, resources. For example, if you want to take leaders up, you have to make a decision that you are going to put in their hands things that will help them grow, things that will impact their life, something that might mean something to them. That could be you sending an article that you read earlier in the day that this may really help us understand this. Or it may be a resource that you want them to all commonly go through at one time. In fact, let me give you an example. I hold in my hand a book that I have written that is about to come out on the 4th day of June. It's called Day by Day and Night by Night. 365 morning and evening devotions for leaders. If you were to open this book, you would be able to see that every day it's dated July 2nd, July 1, May 16th, May 17th. Whatever the date is on the calendar, there is a devotion. And that devotion only involves one page. So in 3 to 5 minutes, you can take their leadership up. This will help them spiritually, even if they are very unspiritual and have no interest in spiritual things, because it will help them in leadership, because we've written it with a slant, with a belief that everyone can be a leader and everyone should be a leader. And you see, if you did this and you took people through something like this resource, and if you were doing it and you had it for the people in your business or the top group of your leadership team, whatever you wanted to put through it, or a certain division that was struggling in some way, it could be so impactful. We're talking about 3 to 5 minutes today where you are helping develop their lives. We talk about family in this. We talk about how to be a better worker. We talk about how to live a better life. We talk about even things that are important in life that we believe are important, and that's how you get along with other people. In fact, there's about 12 or 13 days in this devotional that are totally committed to teaching relational values that you can implement in the workplace that can literally change the workplace in a positive way. My point is this: you have to gift resources to help people in their life grow. And the more simple that can be, the better. And that's why we are such a believer in this resource that we're about to release on June the 4th, 2024. So I hope that you'll pre-order it now and you'll plan to take people with you through it, and you can do it with your family even, because it's a teaching moment. It's an empowering moment. And I can assure you, business leaders by the thousands need what we're talking about today, as well as spiritual leaders in churches and people all over families today. So we need to gift resources. We also need to invest in leaders. We need to invest in other people. You know, investing in them is you may need to take them to a conference and let them experience something that maybe they've never experienced. Maybe you're going to invest in them and send them away for 5 days to a particular continuing education school in the dynamic in which they lead the organization, or they have influence about the future of the organization. Let's say their skills were here and you just needed to take their skills up some. Find a place and take them there. Or you can invest in your leaders, invest in your organization, invest in helping others do that. You could do that in a retreat setting, taking people away, certain number of people away for a day or 2 days. It's amazing what can happen in an organization when you're willing to invest in other leaders, other people. And what we have to understand is this: when you do this consistently, and you do it year after year after year after year after year, you all of a sudden are developing a group of leaders around you, people around you that are going to make a difference in the community, make a difference in the family, make a difference in the church, make a difference in the workplace. And it's all that thought: I'm going to do it here, 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 and this is how I'm going to do it. Invest in them, pour in them resources, pour into them experiences where they can be better, experiences of equipping, or perhaps just more time with you at times where you can help lift them up in being more what they need to be. You see, if you are the leader of any organization, one of the number one things you must do is develop other people. If you don't develop other people, then they're not going to grow. You can never assume they're going to grow on their own. Oh, there are some eager beavers out here who will do it, but I can assure you those are rare in today's world. Number 7, such an important thing: identify the up and coming in your organization. Whether your organization has 10 people, 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people, 20,000 people or more. You need to practice identifying the up-and-coming leaders, those who are humble, those who are teachable, those who are hungry, those who have, you believe, a high opportunity of really growing in their life. And even if they don't stay with your organization, you're getting them ready for their future, and you're pouring into them, and you're helping them to be more what they need to be. I want to urge you today to understand clearly the absolute necessity of identifying up and coming leaders. I know that we did this for years. And when that happened, all of a sudden we would put them in places, put them in meetings where they're not used to being in. And all of a sudden we're going to find out if they're ego-driven or if they're mission-focused. And man, I tell you what, sooner or later it separates. And if they have such a big ego, they can't handle it, then sooner or later they will fall out of that group and in some way or just get uncomfortable because they're around higher level leaders. But boy, those who are hungry and those who are humble and those who want to grow and those who want to make an impact in their life, they begin to flourish in ways. And you look at them and say, who would have ever thought? But it was all because you and a few people on your team decided to begin to identify up and coming leaders and then take them here to here to here to here, and let's just see what happens. This is what it takes, this kind of intentionality, these simple strategies I've given you today that will help you develop other people. And if you do not develop them, don't assume they're going to develop themselves. And why would you ever want to lose the joy of helping other people? You know what's exciting? It's exciting when you see people grow and all of a sudden they're leading and you think about them years and years ago and God used you to help develop them. There's nothing like that. And I hope you will do it for someone this week, many people this week and in days to come, because listen, to the level they rise, the organization will rise. To the level they rise in the family, the whole family will rise. The community, that's what it takes. Those experiences and those events and those times that you have together, that's what it takes. So I want to urge you today, think about these matters. Take them seriously and begin to find a way to get this done in your life. You will never, ever, ever regret doing it. You know, I was asked after I left the church that I pastored over 32 years, if you had to do over again, what would you do perhaps more of? You know, after I thought about that, I thought about a thing that really I did pretty good. But if I could go back and do it again, I would do it even more and more and more. And that is spending time with other people and developing them, adding value to their life. Because I tell you, you do that over the long haul and the impact becomes greater than you can even imagine today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate it. Please take the time to subscribe to it. Please take the time to share it with others. This kind of podcast, you could pull up on YouTube and show your whole staff team and just say, look, we're going to talk about this today. And then once we listen to what is said, we're going to have a dialogue about it with all of us in this room. And that is a time where you can shine because you can say, listen, I believe in you so much. I want to help you and make you the best man, the best woman you can be. Because when you're that, you're going to be better member of the family, better member of the community, better member in your church, and a better employee here at the workplace. And if you excel and you end up somewhere next year at this time, and we hope you don't, but if you do, we will rejoice if you continue to excel in your life, because we had the privilege to put seeds of faith, seeds of hope, seeds of vision, seeds of greatness in your life. You do that this week, and you will have a great, great week.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information on Ronnie Floyd, go to 4leaders.com. We'll see you next time.